Okay, Dr. Dugmore, a very warm welcome to expertsonline.tv. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about your background and your career and how you got to this point in your career?
Yeah, my background was in sport, both in terms of playing football and coaching football internationally. From there, I became really interested in exercise medicine, really, because that was part and parcel of what I did and who I was at that particular time. And then from there, with probably a unique set of qualifications early on in my career, I got approached to work with heart patients. And it's a thing called cardiac rehabilitation, which 20, 30 years ago was not well delivered in this country, but there were some famous programs in Canada, for example, in Toronto, which is the world's leading centre, and in America, and in Europe, actually, in Germany, but very little in this country. And so I was approached to start to develop cardiac rehabilitation programs, exercise programs for heart patients, because at the time the problems were that those heart patients were getting sicker by being kept in bed for 6 or 8 weeks, rather than being active and becoming fitter after their heart problem. And so that's where I really started.
Fantastic. And just tell us a little bit about the work that you did over in Canada, because I know you were over there running a very large, possibly one of the largest heart rehabilitation centres. Just tell us a little bit about your work over in Canada.
Yeah, I was the program director of the famous Toronto Rehabilitation Centre, and that was the centre that specialised in getting heart attack patients back on their feet after the trauma of the heart attack, or patients that had had bypass surgery, or a thing called angioplasty, where there's a balloon catheter put inside the coronary arteries to open up blockages. And very often those people would be left in the ocean, having been literally thrown into it with nowhere to go and no idea of how they could get fitter and healthier again after the trauma of heart problems. And so we would work with those people, and in some cases they got fit enough even after 1 and 2 heart attacks to run the Boston Marathon. So it's not the end of the world. There's some great processes of recovery that can happen, and that's how I got involved in that. Now, prior to that, I ran and developed a national charity in this country called Action Heart, which became very famous. My doctoral research came out of that particular program, and because of that, the Toronto Rehabilitation Centre, having heard me speak internationally and looked at my research, approached me to be their program director. So it's a very exciting time.
So just start now just talking about the situation of wellness and just how serious the situation is now in the modern age regarding individual wellness and the importance of it to us.
Yeah, I mean, individual wellness is key. We're all pushing the envelope to try and make our business and our careers a success. And very often what gets left behind is actually looking after your own personal health and your own personal wellness. The area that I now specialise in is corporate wellness, because what better place to actually deal with individuals than the corporate setting, because you've got a captive audience. They're there from early in the morning till the evening, and that's a great opportunity where you can influence people in a positive sense to improve their health. And all I'm really doing is taking the messages and the techniques and procedures that I learned rehabilitating heart patients and putting the cart before the horse and preventing rather than treating. It's called upstream medicine. And upstream medicine is actually predicting potential risks and problems health-wise and preventing them, rather than waiting for them to happen and then trying to treat them. And it's the new medicine, and the place where it's beginning to explode is the corporate world.
So do you think people that are running their businesses and people who are obviously going up the greasy pole and on up the corporate ladder, are they actually aware of the problem, or is it just that they're so busy they don't have time to do anything about it, or maybe a bit of both?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I deal with a lot of top executives, and some of the comments they make are quite interesting. When they find out they've got health problems, they will sometimes turn around and say, "Well, these are the prices I've paid for the choices I've made." And really, without your health, you're nothing, because you can be the most successful person in the world. But if you haven't got your health to enjoy the quality that goes with that success, you're missing a very, very important point. And so, more and more, people are now realising this thing called work-life balance, where you can work yourself to death, but at the end of the day, you've got to actually have the capacity to enjoy the fruits of your success.